Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to talk about the logical functions. Now, logical functions evaluate the conditions and return true or false based on some specified criteria. These functions include if, and, or, not, switch, true, and false. So if we talk about the if function, it returns the values if a condition is true and if another condition is false. Then if we talk about the AND function, so in this case, both the values should be true, then it would return true. If one of those values is false, then the answer would be false. If we talk about the OR, it checks both the functions and then it would tell us that even if one is right, it would give the result as true, or else it would give the value as false. Not would change that false to true and the true to false. So basically like NOT gate, it would just reverse the values from true to false and from false to true. Switch would evaluate an expression against a list of values and returns the result corresponding to the first matching value only. If we talk about true, it would return the logical value true. If we talk about the false, it would return the logical value as false. So let's go to the Power BI screen and see how can we use this logical functions over there. Over here, I'm working with a table, which is the sample sales table. And now I have to create a new column over here, and this would take some row by row operations. So for example, let's say that I'm trying to check whether the condition meets over here that the category is electronic or not. In this case, I have to use the function of if. So what I'll do is I will create a new column over here, and I want that wherever the category is electronics, there I should get the value as true, and wherever the category is something else, I should get the value as false. So over here, I can name the column as category test, and in the function, I will write if. After you write if it would try to give you a suggestion that do you mean this if, you can just press tab, then it would try to give you the suggestion of how can you write this function. So it is asking us for a logical test, then the result if the value is coming true, and the result if the value is coming false. So the logical test that I want to create over here is that the category is electronics. Now to find this categories, I have to use this table name. So I will write the table name over here as sample sales, and inside that I want to work with category equals to electronics. So I will write the electronics in quotes. Then after that, it would try to evaluate the value and give us the result. So let's say that you want to say that if the value is coming as electronic, the result should be found it. So I can write found it over here. Else, let's say the result should be not found. So I can write not found over here. Then I can close this bracket and hit enter. You can see in this category test that wherever the category was coming electronics, it has given me the value as found it, which was basically specified by me over here. And if it is not able to find the value of category as electronics, it would give the value as not found. So this is how you can use if. Let's say if we are not giving any conditions of this found it and non found it, that means true or false. And if I just put if sample sales category is equal to electronic, then what would happen? So you can see it is trying to give us an error because it is expecting a function over here. Now, the next function that we'll be using is this category. So I want to find out that whether the category is electronics and whether the order year is 2020. And if both these value match, I want the result to come out as true. And if any one of these value fails, I want the result to be coming out as false. So let's see how we can do it. So over here, I will write AND function. For that, you can write AND. Then it would ask you for two logical tests, logical 1 and logical 2. So here, the first logical test that I want to apply is related to the category. So I will write sample sales, and here I will select the column as category equals to electronics, comma. Then in the sample sales, I want to find out whether the order year is equal to 2020. Close this bracket and hit enter. Now you can see the column name was still category test, so let it remain test, or I can just rename it to capital T and make this test. So this would be our test column. Now you can see wherever the value matches of category electronics and the order year 2020, it is giving me the value as true. And wherever even one value fails, for example, if you see over here, the value is electronics and the order date is 2022. The result is coming as false. So in order to be true, both these values should be electronics and 2020. If any of one value is even not there, it would give the result as false. So this is how you can use AND. Now the next one is the OR function. Let's say that even if one value matches and you want the result to come out as true, in that case, what would you do? So in that case, in place of AND, I can simply write OR. In this statement, we are trying to find out that whether the category is electronics or the order year is 2020. In both the cases, I want the value to be coming out as true. And if even one condition is met, the value would be coming as true. So let's hit enter and see what kind of result it is giving us. So you can see over here, the category was electronics and the order year is 2020. That's why we are getting the value as true. And in some of the cases where we have the category as electronics, and even if the order year is not 2020, we will be getting the value as true because one of the condition matches. Either the category should be electronics or the order year should be 2020. Over here, we have the condition meeting as the category is electronics. And in, let's say, this case where we have the category as furniture and the order year is 2020, we again get the value as true because over here we have this order year of 2020. So in this case, you can use this OR. Now, let's say if you want to reverse these values, what would you do in that case? So you don't need to write a long query. If you want that if these two conditions match, you want the result to come out as false. So for that, what you can do is you will be using not. Now, not can be used along with these functions. So what I'll do is first I will try to wrap this OR inside not. So outside I will write not function and inside I will write my whole query. Now let's say if this query was matching, the result was coming out as true, even if one condition was matching over here. Now I want that when this query matches, the result should not come out as true, but it should come out as false. Rest everything should come out as true. So for that, I have written not over here, which would basically reverse the values. After writing this, I can hit enter and you can see wherever even the category becomes electronics or the order date is 2020, there we are getting the value as false. And even if wherever these values are not coming up, that place is giving us the value as true. So over here, you can see I'm getting the value as true, which is basically because the category is home decor and also the order year is 2020. So in this way, you can use your logical functions. So this was all for this session. In the next session, we'll be talking about some text functions. Thank you.